Oh, man. Pour one out for the Seas, guys. Right before this Datamine dropped, I was watching the game, and the Dubs won. They took it 4-2, so they are the new NBA champs. Shoutouts to Steph for getting MVP, but man, the Celtics really let me down this time. All right, regardless, let's go ahead and dissect this data mine. There's actually quite a bit of interesting bits of info in here, not even relating to the actual banner, which for our first of 2 summer banners this year, I think this is like, this might actually be the best banner we've had all year so far. They did a really good job on just about everything in it. So let's not beat around the bush. We're going to start things off with Holoforms. Let me make this a little bit bigger for us. All right, so the upcoming Holoforms units, we're going to be getting Sarah, we're getting Ronan, we're getting Asbel, and we're getting Kempf. So pretty solid selection overall, I guess. Sarah, if you don't have a copy of her, isn't necessarily the worst thing to pick up. You get some pretty good skills on her being a staff unit, so things like odd or even recovery and all of those different assist skills. She comes with returns, so maybe you could give her rescue or the other one, nudge, that we saw on Elamine. So just a lot of options for Sarah. Her weapon is also pretty interesting. It's not too difficult to set up a trap with her, like a return trap in Aether Raid's defense. So if you don't have a copy of Sarah, she's not a terrible unit to go for. As for Ronan and Asbel, they have seen better days. They don't really seem up to date with power creep standards nowadays. Like, Ronan was trying to be a mage bait bow unit, and that's not really a good style of play anymore with the option of just baiting range units with save armors. And then for Asbel, he was a really bulky mage unit, which was pretty good when he came out. I actually liked him a lot on release. But comparing him to like Letizia and Duolith and some of these crazier tanky mages that we have now, it's just like, you're probably just better off running them. And then as for Kempf, it's actually pretty tough to call with Kempf because he's a free-to-play merge. He is a Grand Hero Battle unit, so you can buy copies of him from the Grail shop. And he is coming up on a refine eventually. There's not really any telling how good that refine is going to be because we just don't know right now. But he does have the makings of a really good unit. His weapon is still quite good, Venom Edge, where he can inflict the flash effect and also basically like poison strike to all the enemies and the target within 2 spaces after he attacks. So there are a lot of good things to Kempf. He's also pretty good for Pawns of Loki if you want to mess with people. I don't know why you would want to, though. Like, there's not really anything to gain by running Kempf or Catria or any of those bullshit units in Pawns of Loki just to stop other people from getting runs. Because, like, unlike Aether Raid's defense, it's not like it benefits you. But Kempf, he's pretty good in there. Other than that, like, he's kind of not really as good as he was back in the day, because even Eliwood, who was another really good sword merge project back then, has fallen on some hard times. There's just better options now. So I almost want to say Kempf is a good pickup, but until we really know what his refine is going to do, it's hard to call. So take that as you will, but not the worst round of Holoforms ever. Okay, then we have this over here. This I was not expecting. So we're getting a new customization support pack again, just like the one that came with that new castle skin that gives you like 5 times SP per KO. So this time we're getting a combat manual of the male Byleth, and we're getting 19 orbs, and that's going to cost a total of $9 US. So quickly, if we do a little calculations here, a good base range for this, like, orb to money ratio on a pack like this, I would say is like 3 orbs per dollar, roughly. Because the typical orb pack that people like to get is the 77 orb pack, which costs $40. And that's under 2 orbs per dollar, which is not really the greatest. But for a pack like this, let's take a look. Getting 19 orbs for $9 here. So just a little bit over 2 orbs per dollar. Not really the greatest, but You are getting that combat manual of the male Byleth, which could be valuable to you depending on how you look at it. I personally don't think it's the best idea for a manual. I think this is not a bad idea for an orb pack, like giving us orbs at a discounted price and a combat manual. But I feel like they could have chose a better manual than him. He does have Ruptured Sky, but other than that, he's got Distant Counter, which has been hard power crept by now. We have the ones that give plus stats and other effects as well. So, like, I don't really know if this Byleth is the greatest choice of a manual for this pack, but it's an option. It's not really expensive, but I would say probably skip it. All right, then we have the units to take a look at. So we're going to go one by one, taking a look at their stats and all of that good stuff. So first of all, you have the artwork for Edelgard and Altina. I love this artwork so much, by the way. I love that the bikini they gave to Altina has an ab window, so you can take a look at her shredded wheat tummy. All right, we have the attacking art right there. So I also like this as well. She has two of these, like, inflatable swords. You ever been to the circus? Like, how they give out those inflatable swords? Or, like, they have this, like, toy sword where it's on a handle, and it has, like, a tiger head, and then you can just, like, flick it, and 3 little peggy things come out of the sword, and it makes, like, a longer version of the sword. And you can press a button, and it starts lighting up and stuff. I don't know. I've been to the circus a couple of times, and they always had that toy there. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know. But that's kind of what this reminds me of here. All right, then we have the special attacking artwork for Altina and Edelgard. Very unlikely combo of characters as well, but I do dig it. I think it's not something you would expect, but I also think it does kind of work in a weird way, so I do like this. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at their stats. So they've got 46 HP, 45 attack, 17 speed, 43 defense, and 39 res. Of course, freaking Edelgard with her caveman attack stat. 45 base attack. Fortunately, she doesn't have a super boon in that, though. Her super boons this time around are going to be plus defense and plus res, so playing up her tankiness factor. She has an overall BST of 190. I would have said they could have gave her one more, so 191 with the super boon would have jumped her into the 195 bin. But she actually is in the 195 bin anyway, because all you got to do is give her, like, plus 10 merges, and then because she has Raging Storm in the B slot, that's a 300 SP skill. She's just automatically going to jump into the next bin anyway, so it's kind of a moot point there. This Edelgard is very powerful, though. She has the potential to move 3 spaces per turn with her new C skill. And she has a Brave attack, she has Raging Storm, so she can possibly take 3 actions per turn if you were to give her Gale Force. Just a really, really goddamn powerful unit, and much like all the other units on this banner, we're going to see, like, next level power creep really starting to rear its head. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to Dimitri up next. I think if I had to rank these characters, like, in terms of best to worst in order, I would probably put Mikaya at number 1, or Dimitri. I think it's really tough to call for me between Mikaya and Dimitri. I can see them just dominating summoner duels so badly. And then I would actually put Altina and Edelgard in 3rd place, and then Claude in 4th, just because he's the demote and he's not quite as powerful as these 5 stars. But even saying that, he is one of the most spectacular demotes we've ever seen. Alright, so here's the artwork for Dimitri. Very juicy. I mean, it's very rare that we get some fan service for the non-straight males, right? So, ladies out there, gay men out there, bis out there, anyone out there that is into this, then looking pretty good from Dimitri. It's like the first time we've seen some, like, real tone and abs on a male character since the Summer Xander. So, nice to get that. And a lot of people are kind of complaining that it looks like he's using a lance again, but they decided to just make it an axe for some reason. Not a big deal. Alright, so Dimitri's stats, he's got 40 HP, 42 attack, 40 speed, 35 defense, and 17 res. Giving him a 174 BST and a super boon on speed. Unfortunately, that's his only super boon, but I guess If he had plus attack, that would have been a little outrageous, because he does have atrocity in the B skill. He's a cavalry melee unit that has atrocity. He's got Kanto Rem +1, which is good enough by this point, because if the enemies have Kanto control, then you'd only be able to use Kanto one space anyway for a melee unit. And then he has the Brave attack, of course. He gets like all stats up 5. He's just really, really good. I'm not really sure where I would rank him, like, in comparison to other really good Axe Cavs right now, because it does feel like all of a sudden we have so many good Axe Cavs. So we have also Harmonic Roy, who's really, really good. We have the Summer Kata. We have Oter as well. So, like, there's a lot of options for Axe Cav units, but I think right now it's probably between Dimitri and Roy, and I can't definitively say which one of them I think is better, because Atrocity is really freaking good on a Brave attacking unit, no less. But then Roy also has double type effectiveness, and he has Treachery as well. So it's like, pick your pony, basically. Whichever one you think is best is probably best. But one good thing about Dimitri is that he's from 3 houses, so you can double dance him with the Harmonic Dorothea. So that is one advantage to him over Roy, that Roy doesn't have any characters that can double dance on him. Alright, next up we have Claude over here. Not sure why they drew him to look a lot younger than normal, because I mean, they made like Dimitri all manly looking, and then they made Claude look like a kid. I don't know what the decision was with that, but here he is. I like his hipster shades, though. They really suit him pretty well. And pretty good art overall, despite his age being the one thing I think they could have, like, not done that with, but whatever. All right, and there's the injured art. There goes the hipster shades falling off. All right, so Claude has been garnering a crazy amount of attention, because I think it's for good reason, though. He is a demote character, and he has a perf weapon, which is quite good. Gives him a Brave attack, gives him attack and speed up 6, I think. It's either 6 or 5. He's got -1 special trigger. He has Fallen Star. Like, you look at this guy compared to all of the other 4-star demote characters, and there is a clear gap of separation. He's just, like, head and shoulders above all the rest of them. And this is how you handle a demote character. You want them to be, like, wildly good, so people want to spend orbs and go for the +10 on them. I think IntSys finally just got it right, because you look back to some of the other demotes, like Scatcher, for example, and even just, like, 5 stars that we've seen, like Galzus, for example, Artur as well from Ascended Ishtar's banner. Those guys were 5-star exclusives, and they didn't have perf weapons. They had good fodder skills, but, like, in this day and age, you need a perf weapon pretty much to compete. And for 5-star exclusives like Galzus and Artur to just not have them was really baffling to me, because it's like, what, do they not like money? Do they not want to entice people to summon? So here, I think they got it right. All of these units are very powerful and very good and will entice you to summon. Even more so if Claude or any of the other ones are a favorite character of yours. So I do think if you're going to go for the +10, then Claude is totally worth it. He's got 41 HP, 38 attack, 42 speed, 25 defense, and 26 res for a BST of 172. And then he's got super boons on speed and defense, so pretty solid. Plus speed is nice. Would have been really great if they gave him plus attack as well, but I guess we'll just take the regular boon of +3. See, like, it's only 1 extra point with the super boon, but because this guy has a Brave attacking weapon, it does add up at that point. Like, every extra point of attack when you have a Brave weapon really does matter. So if he had the plus attack super boon, that would have been nice. But regardless, he is crazy. Brave attacking, -1 special trigger. Fallen Star guarantees he's going to survive when he initiates, and then he can give the enemies hell on the enemy phase where they have to deal with him. But there are a couple of weaknesses to him. It's not like he's a perfect unit. Unlike the legendary Claude, he lacks having null follow-up, which I think is one of the strongest assets to that legendary Claude. So he can nullify guaranteed follow-up attacks. So, for example, a unit like Duo Crom or Gay Crom, whatever you want to call him, he really relies on his guaranteed follow-up. And with Fallen Star up, as long as that Claude doesn't have, or that Chrom doesn't have Deadeye, it's not likely that he'd be able to kill Claude in one shot. But because he has the guaranteed follow-up and this Claude doesn't have null follow-up anywhere, then Chrom is probably just going to tear right through him. So that is a big RIP. But we can't really expect, like, the greatest thing. He is still a demote at the end of the day, no matter how insane he is. Okay, and finally we have Mikaya, who, like I said before, I think I would say she is the best unit on the banner, but by a very slight margin. They're all really good. So here's the neutral art, really great artwork. I love that Yune is just chilling out there with a flower on her head. Pretty cute. This artwork, though, this one here I think is a little bit wonky. Like, not necessarily the way it's drawn, but just the position of her legs look kind of weird. Like, her front leg here looks almost like it's bent in a weird way. I don't know, it doesn't really look natural. And then her other leg, too, looks like the perspective is really weird on there. So, I don't know. I think that part could have been better. But the actual art itself is still quite good. Then we have the special attack artwork over here. More flowers coming out. These are hibiscus flowers. And then Yune again chilling out with that flower on her head. And then finally we got the injured art. Yune hanging on for dear life while Mikaya is getting hurt. Okay. So here are her stats. We got 38 HP. We got 42 attack. We got 30 speed. 16 defense. 37 res. A grand total BST of 163, and then she has a super boon in attack, which is exactly where she wants it, pretty much. I cannot believe how good they made this Mikaya. Like, they legit just said, Winter Lysithea wasn't good enough. Let's take her and give her double type effectiveness on armor and cav. Let's give her an actual res stat so she can tank the enemies. And while we're at it, let's give her prescience so she has 30% DR. I really just don't know what they were thinking with this Mikaya. I feel like she's a little bit overtuned, so I would say she's probably the best unit on the banner, although, again, Claude is really up there in contention. Or, not Claude, Dimitri, I mean. So, you guys let me know in the comments which one of these amazing units do you think is actually the best, but I don't really think there's a wrong answer either. I think, like, they did a really good job with this one. Okay, now let's go ahead and move on to the Tempest Trial prize unit this time. So we're getting Alencia, a character that a lot of people have been waiting on for a very long time. It's about time that Alencia got herself an alt. I think she is very deserving. So here's the neutral artwork, and I love the outfit. It really reminds me of Path of Radiance Alencia. We can take a quick look over here. Like, her outfit is very reminiscent of the Path of Radiance one, where she has the orange top with the... like, how would I describe this? Like a ruffled blouse, kind of. Almost like it is in Path of Radiance. And then she has this Pario, which is kind of like the same colors as her skirt over here. So, really awesome job. Really great artwork for free-to-play unit. Here's the attacking artwork. Then we got the special attack artwork there. And then finally, the injured artwork for her. So, let's go ahead and take a look at her stats. So we got 38 HP, we got 36 attack, we got 40 speed, 25 defense, and 33 res. Wow. Oh my god, she's way better than I thought she'd be. So 36, 40 offenses with a speed super boon and 1 in defense. 33 res, so it's not like she's gonna die immediately to magic attacks. She has a workable res stat, and then 172 BST. Could be a little better. She's not going to score as high as Claude, actually, because the thing about Claude is that you could give him Blue Dual Flyer 4, and then because he's got Fallen Star, he does jump into the 185 bin, which is good enough for Arena right now. But, like, Alencia, she doesn't have a unique B skill, so she's not going to be able to make the jump into 185. Only going to be 180, so not quite as worthy of a merge project, but if you're just looking at usability, she is really pretty good for a flying bow unit. So I don't think we can really complain too much about this Alencia. All right, we go over here. We can take a look at her skills. So her weapon is White Cap Bow Plus. Unfortunately, it's not a perf weapon, but we'll take it regardless. 12 might, 2 range, effective against flyers. At the start of combat, if her HP is over 25%, she gets attack and speed up 5. And also during combat, if she initiates and her speed is over 10 from the foes, she gets a Brave attack effect. So comparing this to the other Brave bow weapons in the game, this one is just like way better. So for example, Ninja Yumi from the Ninja Shiden, I believe that bow only has like 7 might. So this weapon, because it has a conditional Brave attack, they're allowed to give it the full 12 might. Then it also has attack and speed up 5, which Ninja Yumi does not. It only does defense and res -4, which is obviously detrimental. And then it does have +4 true damage based on a speed check, but that's kind of a moot point when you're just getting flat out attack up 5 here, with also 5 more might, and then it shouldn't be too bad to win the speed check with this weapon. So this is a really good bow. A really, really good inheritable bow. So I'm glad, like, they just gave us a winner for this Tempest trial. Alright, she has drawback as the assist, as we can see there. She's got attack and speed bond 3 at 4-star, and then she has attack and speed link 3 at 5-star. This is where they drop the ball a bit with the passives, but I mean, come on, like, do they ever get the passives right on these free-to-play units? Never. So, whatever. We can't cry about it anymore. Fallen Star at 5-star. And then we have Speed and Defense Rain at 5-star as well for the 4-star Claude. Kind of unfortunate. He would have been even crazier if he had this at 4 stars. So you could, like, easily get Speed and Defense Rain as a fodder skill to give out. But I guess the main selling point to him is going for the +10 if you want to. All right, and then we have Assault Troop from the duo here. And the restrictions are that it can't be given to range units or dragons and beasts. So basically swords, lances, and axes, and they have to be... Or no, it's not even locked to armors. It's just everybody can get... Wow, that's... Wow. I thought this was going to be armored locked. You can give this to infantry? What? That's very interesting. So, yeah, wow, this is really interesting because the Tempest skills only activate on odd or even turns. So you're not guaranteed to always have the 3 range mobility with your infantry units with that. But with this skill, you can just move 3 spaces as long as you meet this condition here, which is... There's a foe within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit, which shouldn't be too hard to activate. So, like, this is... this might be a more consistent skill than the Tempest skills. Because it's just easier to activate and you just get 3 range mobility. You can give it to flyers as well. Like, wow. They have to be melee, though. That's the one thing. But still, this is really a lot better than I expected it to be. Alright, and then finally, we have the information for the next round of Tempest Trial Sacred Seals. We're getting Attack and Defense Catch 1 as a seal. You'll be able to level that up to level 3. And then we're getting Infantry Hexblade 1, which also can be leveled up to level 3. Catch seals are really good. Any of the seals that activate stats on double phases, so like the solo seals, the form seals, I really like those ones, and this one's going to be no different. Catch and Ideal Seals, yes please. Very good addition to our seals. But Infantry Hexblade, much like Sorcery Blade, I feel like they could have been good if they were less restricted. They have really wonky conditions, like they only work with infantry units, and you gotta have a mage in 2 spaces to get the adaptive damage, so they're kind of wonky. But they could have been way better, so I guess it is what it is. But that's pretty much all there is to say about the Datamine for now. I am going to live stream once the banner actually drops. We're going to live stream, we're going to play the Paralog, have a little fun. Maybe do a Tempest Trial run or 2, and then we'll hop into the banner and we're going to summon. I'm going to try to go for a copy of Mikaya and Dimitri. Like I said, those I think are the 2 units that are going to help you out the most without any merges. So like get 1 copy and dip. Whereas Claude, you would want to get him up to +10 to really make the most out of him. But that's going to wrap us up for this Tempest Trial, or this Datamine video, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed the coverage, and I will catch y'all again in just about 2 hours from now when we get the banner drop, and I will live stream. So take care, fellas.